Wait for my crackhead neighbor to drive by. Making a delivery, I'm sure. So let me take you on a little tour, show you what I got going, how I'm fixturing this, and working on getting these ribs to all bond in line. So here we go. Alright, welcome to episode 7, where I'm continuing on with my slow build wings. I'd like to say I made some pretty good progress, but it's a couple weeks where I was doing some road trips and some home projects, some family things, and I sold my Citabria over this past weekend. Advertised it on Friday, sold it on Sunday. So to the first people, a couple guys drove out from Montana, hightailed it out here, looked at the airplane, flew it in some pretty crazy conditions, and handed me the money. So it's still in my hangar, but the truth is it's time to make some hangar space, because I'm hoping that by the end of March I'll be having both these wings framed up enough that I can fit them to the fuselage, and at which point I will need my hangar. So I will take you on a quick tour and show you what I'm doing to clamp these ribs in place, get everything bonded, and be essentially framed up, not done with this left wing, but it'll be bonded in place enough I can pull it off the fixture and start on my right wing, which I'm gonna guess is gonna go much faster than the left. This mess you're looking at right here includes my 3/8 aluminum stringer tubes, which are not getting bonded in place right now. I'm really just using them marked out. It's pretty easy to see on these over here. The 17.75 inch spacing from rib center to center. Learn how to focus, there it is. And clamp it along the trailing edge so you'll be able to see that at least the tail ends of those ribs. That was concerning me because of the requirement that some of them be perfectly located. Looked far enough ahead in the manual to find out that it's ribs number 3, 5, and 7, which are get the flapper unattached brackets. Kind of surprised me that 7 is the last one because there's still quite a bit of wing. But what do I know? Just a builder. So again, these stringer tubes are not going to get bonded in place right now, but because this happens to be rib number 7, I have this tube clamped on both sides with the Sharpie pen visible. Bad enough lighting you won't be able to see that, but you might be able to see the one at the bottom. So I can use those to help assure that at least the ribs are oriented correctly and spaced evenly. So that's my idea going forth with that. This other piece of wood, same thing for my art project inside the house. Got it clamped up. Everything's lined up. This rib is secure. And so I'm actually going to start, kept talking about my floater ribs. With 5 and 7 done, it's going to be number 6, which is next. 4 and 8. And then I can, without moving anything, still do 9. 10's going to have to wait. Reason I'll expand on later on. And then I'll come back and make sure, because rib number 3, again, it is one of the ones for a flapper on attached bracket, so it's super important that it be oriented, if not correctly, at least off by the same amount as ribs number 5 and 7. So it'll be the last one I do in this case. All right, so here is the mixing gun. Already you can see how it goes through the tip. Back when I used to work at an interior fabrication company, we would burn quite a bit of this stuff to make sure it was good and uniform. These tips are a little bit smaller than the ones we used to run in that industry, which is fine. And then I have my super glad. Can't see how ridiculous I look with a GoPro stuck in my forehead right now, but I thought I'd try and capture this. This will all, of course, be heavily edited later on. As long as I'm down here. Oh, I gotta what's that? There we go. See, by tipping these at an angle, I can reach this side, and then on that one I can get all the way around. Did have my heater running in the shop earlier in the day. Turned it off so I could run a camera. And this is not the only adhesive that is going in here. This is just enough to get the ribs wetted and stuck in place. And I'm going to come back later on with more of these tips. And I don't think I got underneath there yet. I did not. Want to see the out? Also want to out. Now you're going to see if my crazy explanation made sense. So I need to, I've got lots of clamps, slide this over until this edge, rib number 6 is right on that mark. I'm going to rub it back and forth just a little bit to pick up some adhesive. Slide it to the mark. Now you can see how this rib right here is already tilted, so I've got lots of work to do. There we go. So I'm going to get a clamp, several clamps. And just do exactly like this right here. Hopefully you can see that. And like that. And double check up on top, which I'll get in there with light in just a second, but that's enough for me to move on to my next rib, which will be, let's make it number 4 here. Forward. And there's my Sharpie line. It's still on there. This one's in the middle. Looks like it's pretty damn close, but I can put another one in here from underneath. And I'll come back on that one. So this is bonded already. This one is the one I just did. See, this looks a little bit off, so thankfully I just swing by here again. That looks great. And that looks good. So this rib number 6, already pretty happy with it. 730 done. 8. Start the wiggling process. Got a ways to go, but that's because this isn't even close yet. So that's in the right neighborhood. Miles off. That's because that's off too. So, more clamps. Go around the other side and get that. Less messy than usual. Shout out to my local builder, Eric, who has been using those for a while. Marker's on. That one's still on. Fudge that back over just a tiny bit. Flashlight check. Looks like it's off a ways. So this time I'm going to get a clamp from the other side. More clamps. Believe it or not, I thought at one time I had too many. Tried a little experiment earlier with a forehead mounted GoPro. Not sure how it turns out yet, so I figured I'd backfill a little bit in case none of it turns out or pointed the wrong direction. My clamping strategy worked really well actually for getting ribs 4 through 9 in place. I'm holding off on 10 and 3 until after this adhesive kicks off. So a little bit cold outside, had my high sol indoors all day warming up. Got my turbo heater, I'll kick that on for a few hours. And then this is gonna have to rest here for a day. I've got a road trip to Soap Lake to make tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be back Sunday getting on 3 and 10. My plan is to have these wings done, framed up enough that I can attach them to the fuselage by the end of March. I'm, if anything, a little bit ahead of schedule on that, which is why I started looking at things like props and landing gear and avionics again. So that's probably about it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I may have a little bit more footage on this wing, hopefully. All right, getting back on the home stretch for this. I have ribs number 3 and 10 that I need to address. I'll get to 10 in a second. There's a little bit of a adjustment to make for that. I've already, of course I touched it with my finger just now, scotch braided and used denatured alcohol, wiped this down, it's ready to bond. I have a new tip on the mixing gun, and I'm ready to go. So took this wing stringer, that one of course, the stick with the marks on it, and that stringer over there with marks on it. Continuing to reuse ribs number 5 and 7 for the major indexes, and I just slid everything down one bay, so that leaves me with this mark, that one, and that one, which I'll be able to slide everything on. Rib number 10, I thought I noticed something the other day when I was gluing up. Something seemed a little off, and the reason is because when I look in the manual, do the math, it is 17.75 center to center on all these ribs 3 through 9, but on rib number 10 it's only 17 inches on the money. So these marks, none of them are going to work. I'll abbreviate something else for here, and like I said, I'm going to have to lift it up a little bit to bond that one on anyway. So tonight, just a real short build session while I bond these on. So camera's already running, gun's already mixed.